In preparing for this evening, I had the opportunity of talking to many people on both sides of the bar who've had opportunities to try cases before Judge Nadeau. I've spoken to judges who have sat in the same jurisdictions with him. I've spoken to his colleagues, and I've spoken to his friends. And three main things have been repeated to me over and over and over again. This is a man with a great intellect. This is a man with a wonderful sense of humor. And this is a man who strives to make sure that his courtroom is one of the fairest places to try your case. And I'd like to talk to you a little bit about why I think that is. Judge Nadeau, above all, he is a teacher. He is a teacher to his clerks, he is a teacher to the jury, and he is a teacher sometimes to the lawyers who come into his courtroom. He's one of the few judges who literally composes a new jury charge for each and every case. I guess he doesn't believe in templates. And each case is different, and he composes a new charge each time. He's one of the few judges, I've been told, who does not read his charge to the jury. Instead, he actually instructs the jury. He rolls his chair from the bench over to the jury, looks at the jury, and explains the law, because the only way you can have a just result is if the jury understands the law. He also has a deep respect for everyone who walks into that courtroom. He sees attorneys and litigants as real people. This gives the judiciary a sense of humanity and a sense of realism. Because above all else, anyone who knows Judge Nadeau knows that he is a real person with many, many real interests. He has a love of baseball. Many of you may know this. He's a particular fan of one particular team, but I had wanted to keep the evening neutral, so I'm not going to mention the team. It's not the Red Sox. He also is very connected to another team, the Dodgers. I believe his brother-in-law may even own that team. And I'm just going to put in a plug for Judge Novak. I think that the Dodgers are coming and playing the Mets at the end of August. If you could get tickets for Judge Novak, he'd be tickled pink, I'm sure. Everyone knows that Judge Nadeau is a boater, and he loves the water. And I guess I was a little clueless, because when I'm thinking of boating, I'm thinking of paddling in a canoe or a kayak. But I understand from Judge Skolnick that Judge Nadeau has a rather large boat, and that he has, on occasion, had difficulties getting into the old Saybrook dock. He's also a bit quirky. You may not notice this, but on the top of his bench, he often will have a dish full of M&M peanut M&Ms, or a bottle of Coke, or a collection of pens. If you go into chambers, in addition to seeing Hemming's Motor magazine, you very well may see a stationary exercise bike. I understand from one judge that he tries to fit as much into one day as is humanly possible. He also has never forgotten what it's like to be a trial lawyer. He understands the stressors and difficulties that we all have in trying cases, and he tries to make his courtroom optimal and user-friendly for both sides. He has true intellectual curiosity and great intellect, yet he does not let his ego get in the way, and he never wears his intellect on his sleeve. He also is able to control his courtroom with restraint and calm. One lawyer told me that those who do not know Judge Nadeau might mistake his good manners for weakness, which would be a fatal mistake. As JFK once said, civility is not a sign of weakness. There was a time when, in a low-key manner, Judge Nadeau informed a young prosecutor just before the lunch break — this was a prosecutor who had stonewalled his direction to turn over evidence — that if the evidence did not appear after the lunch break, the case would surely be dismissed. Miraculously, the evidence appeared after the lunch break. The accused was later convicted and accordingly sentenced, and it's just a snapshot of the way that justice should work. I also had the opportunity to speak to Judge Nadeau's colleagues on the bench. He is considered to be both a smart and articulate judge, so much so that he has been called upon by his peers to present seminars in the judiciary at the Judges Annual Institute on such topics as collateral source issues and municipal liability. Who wouldn't want to do that? He is considered to be a writer of very good decisions. He is known for his sense of humor, as a collegial guy who is immersed in his work, and he is seen as a judge who truly loves being a judge, truly loves what he does, which is probably one of the main reasons why he is so good at it. Judge Nadeau told me that when he first took the bench, he felt that this position would carry with it the enormous burden of always having to be impartial and unbiased at all times. Instead, he has learned that being fair is fun, that it is easy to be fair. Being a judge has actually lifted the burden because he no longer has to take a side. To come into a courtroom as a trial lawyer and know that the judge hearing your case is smart, skilled, fair, may actually make you laugh, and also happens to have a heart of gold, is more than any of us could ever ask for. It is with great pleasure that I present the Judge of the Year Award to Judge Thomas Nadeau.
Great thoughts. You have a lot of nice friends.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you. Oh.
Pictures first.
Thank you.